First, I'd like to introduce Manny Mesh, a Midland area Jobs for Michigan's Graduates alumni and a founding member of our Youth Advisory Council. Welcome, Manny.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Hello, I'm Manny Mesh. I was in the Midland, Michigan, Wendover High School JMG class, and well, technically still am, but I graduated in 2020, technically, but I did finish school in 2019. It's a little bit about myself. And with my time in JMG, it's been really nice with be able to expand your knowledge of stuff to do after high school and with your community and how to like prepare for certain things. And okay, on to things. With legislative day, I've only went to it once, and that was last year because obviously this is COVID happened, so we couldn't do that this year. But last year, I was trying to be more involved with my class, and it was a really good opportunity because that was right around the time when I started to be more involved. So like, I wanted to do more. So I was able to go see Senator Stamas and Annette Glenn last year. And for the youth that may be nervous or whatever about meeting your representatives, they're a lot more laid back than you think. And it's really nice to be able to talk directly to them so they can get direct knowledge of like possible issues that are happening within community that they may represent. And, all right. Today, I'll be introducing Senator Stamas. Senator Stamas serves as the 36th district, which includes Alcona, Aranac, Gladwin, Iosco, Midland, Montgomery, Oscoda, Otsego, Presque, Isles counties. And Senator Stamas has also been a member of the Michigan Senate since January 1st, 2015. But before coming into the Senate, Senator Stamas serves 3 terms as a Michigan State Representative and 2 terms as a Midland County Commissioner. But along with that, before he was there, Senator Stamas also served in the U.S. Army and the National Guard. Yeah. Welcome, Senator Stamas. As you talk with us today, would you share what experiences led you to choose public service as a career?
All right. Well, good morning. Thanks, Manny. I appreciate it. Well done. I love the opportunity to be here and have the opportunity to have a conversation with everybody. I think the key point, Manny, that you brought up is we're laid back and/or I would hope more approachable. But in your statement about talking to us, it's vital for us to have individuals such as yourself going through your experiences to share with us how we can make sure to help you and others that have a diversity of issues and our backgrounds. And so I appreciate that you recognize that and brought that up. I think it's, again, I think this is one of the key places for us to draw from to make sure we're helping all of our constituents. And so I do have 10 counties, 110 townships, 15 cities, 7 villages, 6 hospitals, 200 miles of Lake Huron, 2,300 farms, 38 school districts, and 38 parades, 15 on the 4th of July, if anybody's not busy this year, if they're having them. But I grew up in downtown Midland. Well, I actually grew up in the down over by Bullet Creek School, just south of Midland, but I was a downtown brat. My family has owned a business, Pizza Sands, for 61 years this year. So, growing up, I actually coming up through the public schools struggled. And I was fortunate my parents were able to, in 7th grade, take me into a private school for about 3 years to get me caught up with my reading skills and the ability to continue forward and learn things. And so I say that because we all have had our challenges, and it's the opportunity for us to overcome them, recognize them, and find ways such as programs like this that make a huge difference. And so I know that as I've had the chance many times to stop in for your program, it's one of the best times, at least I get to enjoy and see such a diversity of challenges in learning and or frankly in life sometimes. And how do we best provide an opportunity for all of us to have that chance to succeed? So that's a short story on me, but I look forward to having some questions, and look forward to hopefully seeing more of my Jobs for Michigan in person sometime soon. So I'll stop there.
Thanks so much, Senator Stamas. You have just been such a significant supporter of this programming for so many years, and it is the most heartfelt thank you always to you, because your leadership has just been so important to us. And I love hearing your story because I know it's so sincere. So let's see here. Go on. I want to make sure, let's open it up just briefly to any questions that anyone has for the senator about his experience or what got him into public service. And perhaps while we're inviting questions, Senator, if you wanted to share a little bit more about why you love your career in public service and why you would encourage others to do it.
Well, no, that's a great place to start, and I probably failed at including that in my first remarks. So, growing up on Main Street with a small business, my parents always said the community supports us by coming and buy our products. Find a way to give back to the community. And so, my grandfather, my dad had both served in the military, so I served in the Army. When I came home, I felt that there was another need, and so I actually was a township trustee in Midland Township for 8 years before I became a county commissioner. Honestly, that was the most I ever expected to be in public service, was sort of in the township area. But we had a county commissioner that actually showed up to the county board of commissioners meeting and literally would put his feet up on the committee desk and vote no, and on every subject. And so I was asked to run for that seat, and I ran and had won that. And then with term limits in the Michigan legislature, now Congressman Molinar was termed out at that point back then, 2008, 2007, 2008. And so was asked to run for the House of Representatives. I honestly never expected to have a career in politics other than the township. And it just continues, as I've had the, privilege and honor to do it. But when I was a county commissioner, I think that was really one of the key places where I had an experience where I saw I can make a difference, but also I went to an event that made a difference in my life when my kids that were young. It was a program regarding dating that was being held at, what was it? The not Carpenter School, but Central School. And the gentleman sort of got up and started talking about how many dads have ever said, well, they're going to clean the shotgun when the daughter's, going out on her first date. And I raised my hand, and then, he said, well, how many say you can't get married until you're 36? And I raised my hand, and the superintendent that was sitting next to me raised his hand as well. So I didn't feel out of school, but then he goes, well, what are you telling your daughter? And I'm like, okay, now you have my attention. And his point was, by making those kind of statements, if something were to happen, you're not telling your daughter that it's safe to come tell you something happened. And I went home and had that conversation with my daughter And it really made a huge difference in my life, in my relationship with my daughter because of that. And so that was one of a couple of events as a county commissioner that sunk into me. How do we best help other individuals? And so that was sort of like kept me going. And then once I was a state representative, just again, more and more opportunities to make a life. I mean, there's three key things in the legislature that we do. Everybody knows we make laws. The constitutional obligation is to do the state budget. But the third, and to me, the most important, is helping our constituents, and I have about 242,000 constituents in the Senate district. But every week we have almost 100 or more call looking for help, whether it's with unemployment, it's with treasury and taxes, it's with the DNR and or water issues, it's with the DNR and other hunting issues or whatever the issues may be. Having those chances to make a difference for the people in our communities is what really makes me love my opportunity to be here and serve. So.
Wow. Thank you. And you mentioned that program was instrumental in some ways in kind of shaping not only your relationship with your daughter, but to some extent your career in public service. How could a program like Jobs for Michigan's graduates have helped you when you were a young person?
I that's what has drawn me in, because I see the career opportunities to learn different things. And I think also the experience of actual hands-on versus some kind of book study. While we still have the book study, there's that real life hands-on experiences and going through and experiencing those. And that is how I really learn. I get out, I can read the issues in that, but when I can go visit a site like, Jobs for Michigan or anywhere else and see it firsthand and talk to the farmers, talk to somebody at their home, talk to another local business or going through manufacturing, those hands-on experiences reinforces and really sinks into me how it's working, how does it work, and what are the other things that I have to learn to understand that. And so I think that's what I love the most about just, this program.
No, thank you. So you mentioned there's a lot of aspects to public service, especially in a job like yours, where you're working with the budget or dealing with constituents. What do you think are the most important soft skills that someone needs to succeed in a public service career?
Yeah, I would tell you the number one to me would be confidence in yourself. I think that by having confidence in yourself, you have the ability to have a lot more soft skills, whether it's your hygiene, it's how you look, it's how you present yourself, but even just asking a question or introducing yourself and looking somebody, when somebody, when you walk up to somebody and shake their hand or just greet them and look them in the eye, goes a long way for it. But having confidence to carry on a communication is probably, to me, one of the key areas. You can learn so many other things by believing in yourself. We are all different, and we all self-evaluate and sometimes beat ourselves up for things. But the truth is that, while everybody's doing it to themselves, nobody wants them to see it on the other side. And most of the time, they're actually more sometimes worried about themselves than they are about you. So they're going through a similar situation in their own, circumstances as well. And so having that confidence in yourself and believing in yourself is probably the number one soft skill. But building on that in your communication skills is probably the next part.
That's why I would compliment both Manny and Hannah for joining us today and having the confidence to participate as public speakers, because this is practicing everything that the senator is just talking about. So one more question from one of our specialists. Did you work at your parents' pizza shop when you were in high school? And if so, do you see careers in the hospitality sector as a good avenue into careers in public service? And maybe tell us more.
I did. I grew up in the pizza store. I probably started officially working at the pizza store when I was 12 years old. And so, but you know, in the hospitality area, you know, there are so many job skills that you learn. You know, number one, I think, again, is self-confidence, how to communicate with the public. But you also learn how to multitask. You learn how to deal with dollars. You learn how to deal with multiple issues coming at a single time, and things changing at a rapid pace. And so that prepares you, in my humble opinion, to be very adjustable, recognize that things change at a moment's notice, and how do you adapt with it. And so I think that hospitality is one of the key areas that really can help someone in public service. It also gives you the exposure to see so many different varieties and or circumstances. I mean, growing up at the pizza store, we had in Midland community what was called the open door that actually was underneath us. And those were individuals that were misplaced from their homes. They had their drug problems, alcohol problems. They had some type of substance abuse was the more common thing. And so learning, you know, and seeing and experiencing some of those challenges, and as I saw them growing up, was also one of those where I still to this day, back when we were in our original location and the open door was under us, a gentleman coming in and showing me his tracks on his arm from shooting up. And it's like, it just made you realize some of the struggles that were really out there, right? And so, but learning how to deal with those, and you know, Dad was always supportive of people coming in. You know, he wouldn't necessarily give dollars, but he never let somebody leave the store hungry if they really were in need of food. And so, but it also provided an opportunity in downtown Midland to really realize that while everybody looks at Midland as a wealthy place, Midland is also a community like any others that has other parts that are certainly has their challenges. And so we're blessed with, like other communities, where others are willing to try to help. It's just a matter of having confidence to accept sometimes that help as well. So
Absolutely. So in addition to getting into the hospitality sector, which I agree, I also participated in that sector early on, and it was really helpful. Are there any other steps that you would recommend to young people interested in public service where they might start on their journey?
well, volunteering almost anywhere is always a great start, whether it's, you know, just frankly helping a neighbor that needs their yard shoveled, or, you know, their sidewalk or driveway shoveled, to and building experience with that, to going to YMCA and or whatever other, you know, community areas, and volunteering and helping out other young people, and getting to know, you know, even some of our senior citizens homes, always just helping them as well. And so finding a place where you can learn different parts of the community is always good. You know, trying to now, with all the videos, maybe watching city council meetings or board of commissioners meetings, townships meetings is also helpful. I will be honest, 90% of the time they are the most boring thing you're ever going to watch. But the thing to remember about each of those is you see a lot of things happening sometimes as they go through their agenda. Most of the work was done before they ever showed up to the board meeting. So there's other work that had to be done, whether you're talking about a roadway, you're talking about a park, you're talking about whatever else. There was a lot of homework there. But also, you know, volunteering to walk a parade. I mean, like I said, I have, you know, 15 parades on the 4th of July. I can only do, you know, 2 or 3 in a single day based on the timing and depending on how far I have to drive between. But getting out and doing some of the events. I would also encourage you, especially in today's, whether you believe yourself to identify yourself as a Republican, a Democrat, whichever, learn about both sides, because both sides have a difference of opinion, you know, approach things, but most of the time we're trying to actually accomplish something very similar, just using a different approach. And understanding and respecting a difference of opinion is really where you gain your strengths. That was really, and I think unfortunately so many have lost that. A difference of opinion on a township board, a county commissioner board, or a state house, or a state senate, or a US Congress, that is actually what is supposed to give us our strength, not be our weakness. And so having and respecting others that have a difference of opinion, to me, is also an important part in respecting that there is a difference of opinion.
Oh, I love that, Senator. And we'll end your section on that very high note that respect, kindness, and difference of opinion is an important thing that we can all keep in mind, especially right now.
Yes.
Thank you again, Senator Stamas. We so appreciate you.
Thank you.